809-444-0981. That's our WhatsApp number. You can send a tweet to Smooth981FM with the hashtag Business Express 981. We're streaming live on YouTube, so you can join the conversation, watch, and leave a comment there. Thank you, Rotus. Let's go.
Yeah, look, this is just coming in. It's on the cover of today's This Day newspaper. So so you have to forgive me because I'm just getting this information and it just everything else I wanted to talk about. Today, the Federal Accounts Allocation Committee is meeting, they're coming together, FAC, right? FAC allocations, well, as we know, you get, proceeds from oil sales are now shared, between the federal government and the states and the local governments. I think the federal government gets what, 15%, the remaining 85 is between the states and the local governments, if I remember correctly. So the Nigerian Governors Forum have apparently at a virtual meeting considered and accepted a report that's been headed by Kaduna State Governor El-Rufai, who is just all over the news right now.
He's the most famous governor now.
Yes, and accepted its recommendation that backs full deregulation of petrol and suggests that the pump price should be about 385 naira per liter. Committee is also recommending that the federal government buy 113 buses to cushion the effects of the price increase, according to a source that spoke to This Day. So again, just as a reminder, El-Rufai's 6-man committee was set up by the National Economic Council, the NEC, which is headed by Vice President Osibanjo, to look into dwindling revenues of states and make recommendations to the council. On that same committee, in addition to El-Rufai, Governor Basaki of Edo State is there. Kayode Fayemi of Ekiti State is also David Umahi of Ebonyi State is also the governor of the central bank, Gordon Emefele. Let's see here, Group Managing Director of the NNPC, Mele Kiari. He is also there as well. Yeah, that's the headline circled. So look, the thing is, there's going to be resistance to this. That this is supposed to put pressure on the ongoing negotiations between the federal government and Labour. Labour now is in a huge fight with El-Rufai, although I've heard that they've suspended their strike in Kaduna because Chris Ngige, Minister of Labour, stepped in and said that they should come and have a meeting. So I think El-Rufai and the heads of the Nigerian Labour Congress are supposed to meet today or tomorrow in order to try to bring cool things. So I don't know, maybe while Labour, this is some kind of strategic thing, because while Mele Kiari of the NNPC has repeatedly said that the federal government cannot afford the subsidy any longer, and that they can't even remit anything to the federation accounts based on what subsidy is costing them, which is what, 132, 140 billion a month or so. So he has made his point clear, and that is the group managing director of the state oil company, which is the sole importer of petrol. As you're importing petrol, there's an FX cost. This thing needs to come up more. You are importing it from overseas, so you are paying foreign exchange. Nobody seems to know what rate NNPC uses. I've tried to get the information. I'm still to today, I don't know what FX rate NNPC uses. Now, of course, they've got the fuel swap, direct sale, direct purchase agreements with oil companies where they give them fuel and get refined fuel in return. If you think about it, it's like you grow tomatoes and you give out, you exchange tomatoes for stew, right? So stew is your derivative. You don't have the ingredients to make the stew at home because refineries, your oven and so on don't work.
So, or raw tomatoes for canned tomatoes.
Exactly. So for the derivative. So that's what the direct purchase is. So that's why other importers aren't, if they try to import fuel, it's probably sell for higher than it. So anyway, it's huge news. They've suggested that buses, I don't know why they keep coming up with buses. I don't dismiss it outright, it helps, but they're saying that they should purchase buses to help cushion the effect of the increase in petrol. Unless you are going to subsidize the cost of what the average Nigerian is paying for transportation. I don't see how the buses help. I think if you deregulate the downstream sector and petrol price shoots up to 385, we're paying what are we paying now? 162? We're paying 162 now. So that's 382 is more than 100% increase. You've doubled the price. So transportation costs will skyrocket. That is directly going to flow into inflation and increase the cost of living. So what you can do with the 132 billion that you've now saved on a monthly basis in subsidy, you have to now do helicopter money and give that money directly to civil servants. It can't go across everybody. But at least, I don't know, they should try and find a way. This maybe increase the minimum wage. Somehow that extra money they are saving has to go down to directly to the man on the streets, man or woman on the streets, so that they don't feel the burden. Because this thing is good. Frankly, I don't think. I mean, it's huge news. It shows the present revenue issues that Nigeria is facing now. But Labour is going to fight it. But you see, Labour is focused on Kaduna and El Rufai, so maybe they're going to be distracted, you know.
And that's speaking to the people who have jobs. What of those who don't have jobs? Imagine the level of inflation now and how bad it is, and how bad it's been affecting the economy, right? Especially people with the money in their pockets and how much they can afford, the price of goods and services, like you mentioned. If that happens with the pump price, there's so many things that will be affected beyond just transport. The cost of goods and services, transportation, moving it from different parts, even imports, right? That will be affected. The argument may be that, because we're fixing roads, we're focusing on capital investments, ensuring our infrastructural development as well is increased because of the loans that they've been, bringing in. But the burden will be more on the ordinary man who could not afford 3 square meals a day 3 years ago. And then COVID hit and it got worse. And this is happening. Do you really think the Nigerian government is going to give, citizens enough money to sustain themselves or even to support them?
Well, Val, the governors of this country have to take responsibility. Now, you can't keep pushing everything to the president. The governors are CEOs of their respective states. They are mini presidents of their states. This, frankly, is the first time. Maybe I should be more fair to them, but this is the first time I'm seeing the Nigerian Governors Forum be bold and take a stand and say, we don't have money. Maybe their plan is to pass on some of these savings to their respective states because they have to take responsibility. Val, I don't know why 2021 keeps throwing me off. 2012, right? What was that, 8-9 years ago? Jonathan accepted subsidy. I'll never forget, I had started a new job in an asset management company. I was supposed to start on January the 1st of 2012. My resumption was delayed by 1 week because of those famous strikes that took in 2012 when Jonathan tried to move the pump price to 144 or 145.
From about 85 naira or something.
Thank you, 85. Yeah. Everybody came out, they attacked him, they pushed it back, and they scuttled it. Imagine if we had deregulated way back in 2012 and where we'd be now. So your point is well made in that the man on the streets is going to be affected. This is the worst time to do this. Worst, because COVID came out of nowhere. It's made everything worse. We've lost money. We barely came out of recession. Nigeria is still in a stagflation environment, rising unemployment, rising inflation, stagnant GDP growth. So this is the worst time to be raising fuel prices. But you wasted time. Years you were slow. Now you have to do it. Now you are forced to do it because you don't have any money to subsidize. Buhari, by the way, if you check that front page of This Day, at the top of the masthead, he's essentially begging foreigners, the UK, US, France. He's telling them they should give Nigeria some debt relief. This is the same that Dr. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala negotiated our Paris Club debt down under the Obasanjo regime. Look at where debt is. Buhari has written a letter now to the National Assembly that, if you scroll up, there it is at the top. Buhari urges European nations, others to grant Africa debt relief, right at the top there. So look at where we are now. So you are still subsidizing petrol, spending billions a month, and then on the other side, you're asking for not only, right, he wrote a letter to National Assembly that he needs another 2.3 trillion naira, which was Appropriation Act. I'll give him that. It was already budgeted for to borrow more money to cover the 5.6 trillion deficit for 2021. And he's asking for European nations, please forgive our debt. And you're still paying, you still want to pay billions in subsidy. How? How do you still ask for, please help me, or I don't have money to pay you back. Can you please reduce my debt? And then you're still spending money on a subsidy that is not sustained. Man, we need 1 hour to do.
Which is why this would be a desperate move, really, that should happen ASAP. Daniel says the government keeps talking about capital projects. How come this isn't translating to economic growth? And then another one from Kende. Kende says, hi, Smooth FM. The problem is that we can't guarantee NNPC is going to save the money. Like you said, we don't even know the rates they use. Maybe they are making loss already. Benga Komo says 385K. And how many buses can alleviate the astronomical increase in prices that they better think about it properly? I hope the government can contain the fallout. How well are the governors, he adds, doing in their states? These people are some of the worst afflictions Nigeria has ever had. All the monies they got, what happened to it? Benga, you can't just rule out all the work we've done just because of some mistakes. Look, but I get your point.
Exactly.
Oh, no, you could send a message from AJ here. He says, what about the federal government's project of converting cars or petrol cars to gas? What happened to that?
That's a long-term project too.
It's a long-term project. It won't happen overnight.
Convert from petrol to gas.
Imagine converting from cars. There was a time they even mauled, or rather some businesses were introducing an innovative idea. They were selling this thing of converting your petrol powered generating sets to gas powered generating sets. People cleaned out from it, but it didn't really catch on with Nigerians. People weren't interested.
We are blessed with gas, right? But it is such a capital intensive project. I mean, I know that Nigeria has a gas plan, pipelines and so on. It's a long-term project. Right now, something needs to happen now. Now.
For the future, a lot of future thinking projects, the future forward projects really need to be conceived now. Henry says, for the citizens, this is arguably the worst time to deregulate. For the government, it's the worst time to pay for subsidy because they simply cannot afford it. We could afford it in 2012. No, and not now. Tough times, he says in a hashtag. Thank you, Henry, for your message. And we are done.
Hey, wow. We'll see how things go, man. Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody.
Fingers crossed.